Hi guys, and welcome to this weekly horoscope for Monday the 31st of July going through until Sunday the 6th of August 2023. Thanks for joining me. It's a pleasure to be with you today. And I couldn't sleep last night, so I've been up since 5 in the morning. So I've decided to make this video really early, and it's been a really weird experience. It's Sunday morning, so at 7 in the morning I walked over here to the park and I didn't see one person, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is going to be great, it's going to be quiet, there aren't going to be any lawnmowers or people screaming or anything like that. So I get to the park and there are people doing an exercise class over there, so we'll see how it goes in terms of the noise. But it's kind of interesting with the city being all quiet and just sitting here on my own. It's really good. Okay, so I've had a look at what's coming up this week, and it doesn't seem like it's party mode this week, really. I don't think you're in full let's have fun mode. I think it's much more about being quite serious and using your confidence to kind of get work done. So that's the big focus here. How can I affect change? What can I do in a practical sense? How can I be productive, right? So astrology is based on the seasons, and it's based on the northern hemisphere. So here in August, we're in the middle of summer. You'd assume that it's all about, frolicking in the fields and having barbecues and going to parties and celebrating. As far as you're concerned via the planets this week, it's really about getting things in order and getting things structured and right and perfected. So just the way I'm talking, it's very much about kind of sitting up straight and saying, okay, how can I use my power and my intellect and my control to make life smoother for myself? And how can I use my abilities to organize to serve myself? Okay, so let's start with the last day of July. We've got Monday, the 31st of July. We've got the moon in Capricorn. The moon is how you feel. And Capricorn is the sign of the worker, okay? So that immediately sets the stage for this week. So what I feel most comfortable doing is working towards a goal, overcoming obstacles, and giving myself a kind of pep talk. Not going into feelings and letting myself find things overly complicated. I want to set a goal, and then I want to take action steps towards realizing that goal. Very black and white, very simple, right? Remember that Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is structure and it's restriction. There's not a lot of room for doubt with Saturn. It's all about how can I put the foundation in place in order to build my castle or my house or whatever it may be. So the Capricorn moon then conjuncts Pluto and Capricorn. When two planets conjunct each other, they sit on top of each other and they blend their energies together. And Pluto is about transformation. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's also in Capricorn. So for the Capricorn moon and Pluto and Capricorn to sit together equals you undertaking work that actually then has a profound influence and impact on your practical circumstances. So if you're thinking of doing things differently, if you're thinking of making big changes, just prepare yourself that those changes are going to take effect and they're going to have a big impact on your life. Okay, the Capricorn moon also squares Chiron in Aries. Wow, it's getting windy now. Okay, so the Capricorn moon with Chiron in Aries, what's important to me, or what I want to overcome, that is the main thing in front of me. So that is my priority. So with that said, you're not looking at relationships, you're not looking at kind of discovering some hidden meaning by going to the core truth of something or meditating on it or really reflecting. This is about action. This is what I want, therefore I'm going to do it. It's all very simple and black and white, and there's not a lot of room for confusion. The Capricorn moon then trines Uranus in Taurus. If I do take action, it can have miraculous and unexpected results. So again, prepare yourself for your actions to have major consequences. And it sextiles Neptune in Pisces and quincunxes Venus in Leo. So you're confident, you're inspired, you're really clear on what's important to you. And it's going to be kind of hard to hold you back and to say, okay, let's take a moment to reflect here before we act. That's not going to be your friend. If you think it, feel it, you're going to say, okay, I'm ready, let's go. So that obviously kind of throws up a few red flags. If there's something you're not certain about, do give yourself a few seconds to reflect and to consider whether this is a good idea, and then rush off into action. So on Monday, the 31st of July, you start the week in work mode, and you'll have an eye on what can be changed based on your ideas and the way things ought to be. Now, when the word ought comes along, or should, then that's always a red flag, because you're digging your heels in and you're saying this is the way it's supposed to. And if it doesn't go my way, then there will be big problems. So it immediately sets you up for conflict with other people. You know, if you have 100% clarity on what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, when it needs to happen, and someone comes along and does it even a slightly bit differently, then you're not going to enjoy that. So it doesn't set you up to work very well with other people here at the beginning of the week. Instead, anything that you can do independently, solo, is going to be much more satisfying. So with all the influences on Monday, you're not afraid of change. Your imagination is fired and you're super, super confident. So it's a good day to present your own ideas or to interview for something new. It's not so great for teamwork or for seeing the other person's point of view particularly, and brainstorming, because you are so focused on getting your way. Tuesday, the 1st of August, we're going into the new month, and it comes along with a bang because we have a full moon in Aquarius, which is also a supermoon. A supermoon is when the moon is much nearer to the earth than it usually is. So it appears bigger, and it also has a more profound influence on us. I've made a separate video on the supermoon. Check that out for more information. It's really a great time to be inspired and to look at new ideas, or to even consider how things could be done differently without immediately buckling down and saying, well, this is the way I've done it for the last 20 years, why should I change? In fact, it's the opposite. It's, I have done something for 20 years, it's kind of worked, but let's see, if we tweak it, if we try something new, maybe we'll get a different outcome. It's kind of that open-minded willingness to do things differently for a better outcome. So there's hopefulness involved here. There's a sense of, if I make an effort, anything is possible. Okay, so the Aquarius full moon happens. The moon actually only goes into Aquarius at 5:58 in the morning. The Aquarius moon then opposes the sun in Leo, that's where the full moon comes from, and it squares Jupiter in Taurus, and it quincunxes Mercury in Virgo and Mars in Virgo. So the Aquarius moon with the sun in Leo, my confidence, my ideas, inspiration, I'm an inventor, I can think outside of the box. Jupiter in Taurus, again, there's a sense of luck factor involved with this. It's almost like the planets are immediately taking the next step. So step one is you having these great ideas. Step two is then taking action around those ideas, and that's where Jupiter comes in, and it says, let's provide lots of good luck and good fortune for anyone taking practical action during this time. And the quincunx with Mercury in Virgo and Mars in Virgo, I understand the assignment. I can make sense of it, I can plan, I can create meaning, and I can really see the bigger picture and work with it effectively. Mars in Virgo then trines Jupiter in Taurus. So trust your own perception of things, trust your own ideas. If you think it's right, if you think it makes sense and it has value, then it likely does have value, even if other people don't immediately get it or share your vision. Don't let yourself be put off by that. Mercury in Virgo opposes Saturn in Pisces. That's kind of interesting, because Saturn in Pisces is really the structure of my life on a big picture kind of level. I'm looking at absolutely everything. What's important to me is a sense of security and a spiritual connection, versus Mercury in Virgo, which says, well, actually, it's all very well if you feel connected to your higher self, but what about the paperwork? And what about the numbers? And what about the actual train schedule? You know, it doesn't matter how connected you are. If you're 5 minutes late for the train at 5:05, then you're likely to miss it. So Mercury is very pedantic and very much detail oriented, and there's a conflict between, does it feel right and does it make sense in a real world setting? So if you look at those two ingredients, you're actually sitting in a really good position, because you're not just running off into action without making plans. You're assessing them in terms of, is this right? And also, is it possible? So you're not likely to make huge amounts of mistakes here. So on Tuesday, the 1st of August, check out that separate video on the full moon. You're full of new ideas and inspiration. The best way forward is to keep the focus on yourself and what can be changed in your life. Instead of making plans that involve groups of people or a bunch of discussion. Anything that's straightforward, black and white is going to work best. Taking action based on your insights can really put you on a new path, or it can allow you to improve and tweak your existing circumstances for the better. So it's kind of an important start to the month. Wednesday, the 2nd of August, we have the Aquarius moon opposing Venus in Leo, which is interesting because that's very similar to the day before when we had the supermoon. The Aquarius moon is now in opposition with Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and creativity, and it's in a very confident sign. It's in Leo. So it's really about how can I put myself out there, how can I make an impression. But remember, Venus is in retrograde until September. So it's about your ideas and not overthinking yourself and how you present. I think there's the potential for self-consciousness to come in, but really if you rely on the strength of your ideas, that's what's going to open things up and allow you to continue to make progress. The Aquarius moon squares Uranus in Taurus. So again, I want to affect change. I want to say something which is going to blow other people out of the water. It's going to inspire them in terms of, wow, I would have never thought of this myself. You want to have that effect on people. And it sextiles Chiron and Aries. So there's even a sense of, I have an expectation. I need to do something exceptional. I need to make a unique contribution here. So the expectation is really high, this expectation of yourself. And if you have anything like that you're actually able to provide during this time here on Wednesday, the 2nd of August, you'll really be proud of yourself. It's really a pat on the back kind of moment where it's like, look at what I've done by myself. So on Wednesday, the 2nd of August, it's a fabulous day to work on your own ideas and to use your confidence to make sensible plans for the future. Not silly plans, but sensible ones. Again, change seems to be a good thing right now. You're not afraid of it whatsoever. So any improvements or alterations that are designed to improve your daily experience will work well. And you're also not going to get scared halfway through and say, ooh, this is too daunting, and what if this doesn't work out? Maybe I should turn back and just keep everything as it is. You're not going to go into that kind of fear mode. If anything, you're overly confident. On Thursday, the 3rd of August, we've got the moon going into Pisces at 5 minutes past 5 in the morning. So the moon in Pisces is very much concerned with your inner experience, your feelings, your sense of connection, how you feel about your life, the world, what it all means. The Pisces moon conjunct Saturn in Pisces. So this is kind of like a Sunday morning where you just want to have some time for yourself and you want to enjoy yourself and relax and have a sense of your own experience and your own aliveness as such. It opposes Mercury and Mars in Virgo, so I'm not interested in the numbers and the details, thank you very much. I'm having a really nice quiet morning with a cup of tea here, don't disturb me. It then sextiles Jupiter in Taurus and quincunxes the Sun in Leo. So if I am going to take action on Thursday, it needs to stem from within here. I need to feel empowered and inspired by this. I'm not going to do something just because you tell me to. I'm going to do things which feel inspiring to me. So, as I'm talking here, I'm kind of listening to myself. You're a lot this week. You're a lot of work because you're so interested in your own vision, in your own kind of reality here, that it's going to be quite hard to reach you. And certainly if someone is trying to get through to you, hello, what's happening? You're not particularly open and interested in that. So I'm just thinking of examples of when it's important to listen. I mean, most obviously, if you're a student and you're learning something, you can't sit in the lecture hall and say, I know everything. At some point, you're going to have to put your kind of listening ears on and absorb some of the information. And that is not your friend here. So situations where it is all about you, if you're presenting the information, if you're teaching it, but then again, you're not the only one influenced by this. So then also don't expect all the students to listen and to be 100% focused on what you're saying. Creativity is good. Exercise, sports, being in the present moment, connecting with your body, connecting with other people in a fun way. where what's being discussed isn't so life-changing and important. It's more about the experience of doing something that gives you a sense of I'm alive, I'm here right now, and I'm having this experience. So with the shift into Pisces, you go more inwards, and this red hot confidence that you've had all week cools a little. It comes back later on in the week, but it takes a little bit of a dip now. So you're taking a moment to kind of clarify the spiritual message and to reorient yourself on Thursday. That's what the kind of Sunday vibe is all about. Am I still on track? Am I still looking at things which are important to me, or have I got derailed? So it's just a moment of kind of checking in with yourself. So on Thursday, your higher self is the most helpful source of information on this day, so make sure you connect with that. Any changes then based on the info you receive from your higher self is again going to have positive long-term consequences. So it's kind of interesting because the planets and all the energy, it means that you're immediately going to take action. You're not particularly interested in checking the figures or the details before you act. And that's exactly what I'm telling you, that your actions are going to have long-term consequences. So if you can possibly build this in deliberately by yourself, as in before I take an action, I'm going to count to 10, I'm going to step back, I'm going to look at what's actually about to occur, and then I'll go into it being informed without rushing. I think that's the key thing to remember here. Yes, you are really serious and confident, but you're a little trigger happy in terms of, okay, I had the thought half a second ago, why am I not already sprinting? So instead, I'm going to start walking in 10 seconds, and I'm just going to take my time with this so I don't make mistakes that I have to tidy up later on. Friday the 4th of August, we have the Pisces moon now conjuncting Neptune in Pisces. So you're off in fantasy land now. Neptune is the water planet of dreams and intuition. So you're very, very, very tuned into that. The way that can translate is it can be, I can really engage with things which are fantastical. You know, I can watch a film where it's all about an alternate reality or completely experiencing something new, like some sort of fantasy land. In terms of the emotions, it can be, my life is too hard, I want to check out, I want to have a drink or smoke something so I can alter my state of mind so I don't have to experience any of this. It's kind of like a turtle retreating back into its shell. I don't want too much reality, I want fantasy. And then on a more productive side, if you're someone who works intuitively by listening to your psychic abilities, or if you're someone who works as a healer, then the Pisces moon with this conjunction to Neptune is really, really helpful because it means that you can use that intuition like an instrument. It's very clear, there's nothing distracting, the message is coming through, so you're able to give good and accurate answers. The Pisces moon also sextiles Pluto in Capricorn, so if you have any kind of prophetic dreams or premonitions for yourself, pay attention to those, they'll be real. And also if you're working with others in order to kind of entertain them or help them or heal them, again, you'll get intuitive messages that are on point, so trust those on Friday. The Pisces moon also sextiles Uranus in Taurus, and it quincunxes Venus in Leo. So your confidence is back from the day before where it took a bit of a snooze button effect moment. And again, the key theme that keeps coming up every day this week is if you say something based on your ideas, or if you take action based on your feelings or your inspirations, it's going to have long-term permanent consequences. So if something drastic happens as a result of something you've done, don't be overly shocked and surprised. It's kind of like the world pays attention to you more so than it usually does, and every little action you take has a bigger impact than it usually would. It's kind of like you're under a magnifying lens. So with all the Neptune stuff and the tendency to want to check out and stuff, plus Venus, the love planet, being in retrograde at the moment, Friday the 4th is not a great day to go on a date or to meet someone new. Your vision may be clouded. You may have a tendency to assign meaning where another very different meaning already exists, as in this man is wonderful and is caring, and in reality is completely self-absorbed and not so caring. Instead, it's a fabulous day to make time and space for your own vision and to work intuitively or creatively. Yeah. Saturday the 5th of August, we've got the moon going into Aries at 19 minutes past 5 in the morning. So that's very different, right? The Pisces is the 12th sign in the zodiac, so the end. And that's what it's concerned with. What is next? This world, this planet, this existence, reality has now been completed. What does it all mean? Aries is about, I've just arrived on planet Earth. I have a lot to achieve here. I can't wait to get going. Let's do it independently, and let's bulldoze every obstacle out of the way, because this planet is mine. I've just been born. It's all mine. I can do whatever I want. So it's a different attitude. It gives you even more confidence. It gives you even more speed and a sense of, I need to act now. So the patience doesn't increase as the week goes on. It actually shortens here on the weekend. The Aries moon then trines the sun in Leo. So fire, fire, fire. I feel like I have a purpose. I feel like I can live this purpose and lead other people and influence them and charm them. And then it quincunxes Mercury in Virgo. So I have all the information. It's now time to get rid of that information or to alter it through my own actions. So Saturday, you're not subtle, you're not patient, you're not considerate, you're considering your own needs and your own desires. So Saturday, if you want to use this effectively, is not to get into an argument with someone who you never get on with anyway. You know, by the way, if there are people like that in your life, where it's always kind of misunderstandings or it's never particularly easy, this is not the week to make nice with those people or to try and get on the same page. You're just so anchored in your own sense of what's right and what's important that you can't budge very easily and see it from someone else's point of view. It's kind of similar to last week, where there was this sense of I am right. Whereas this week, it's not even about I'm right, it's about I feel, therefore I do. So on Saturday, yes, to make the most of this, make the day as much as you can about work, about creating meaning, and about taking action. You're still confident and you're very informed. So you see, the thing is, you likely are right. You're just not very patient. Similarly to the rest of the week, voicing your own views and ideas will work well, more so than trying to influence or win over other people. Finally, Sunday the 6th of August, the Aries moon conjuncts Chiron in Aries. What about my healing? What about what I wanted? Why are we going here? I wanted to go there. I'm laughing because, I mean, we all have been there and we all know someone like that. And we all know the effect it creates. It's like, oh really? I thought this was a day out. I didn't realize this was Cindy's day out, or John's day out, or Bob's day out, or whatever it may be. So you see, you can be a bit of a party pooper by completely just being self-absorbed and only wanting it your own way. So again, if you are spending a lot of time with other people, if that's the situation you're in for the majority of the week, then just deliberately say, okay, I'm going to try and cool it. I'm going to try and be a team player, and I'm going to try and pretend to care that your opinion matters. Or that I'm interested in it. You know what I mean? The Aries moon then squares Pluto in Capricorn. So again, you see, that's the thing. You can make such great changes for yourself that this overweening confidence is a major tool. Please use it. I mean, I know I've been making jokes about how difficult you may be, but in terms of how productive and how streamlined your point of view and your vision and your whole modus operandi is at the moment, you can really get a lot done. The Aries moon also trines Venus in Leo, and it quincunxes Mars in Virgo. So I know what I'm doing. I'd like to do it, please, and I'd like to be at the head of the boat as captain. I don't want to be the second stew or whatever it is. The Sun in Leo then squares Jupiter in Taurus. So sorry to repeat myself, but taking actions based on what you think is good and right is going to have a positive outcome. So the week ends similarly to the way it started. You're interested in personal improvement. You're interested in affecting real life changes and manifesting your own ideas. Any flashes of insight or ideas that begin to crystallize on Sunday are super important, and you'll benefit by paying attention to these. So whether, again, you get a message via your dreams, or you're walking around in the park and you see something that reminds you and it's like ding, pay attention to those things. They're not just arbitrary, they're deliberate, they have meaning, And when you work with them and implement them, they will affect your life positively. Okay, so that's what I get here for this week, the last day of July and the first 6 days of August. I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you could hear me over the wind. I didn't realize it was slightly windy when I came out here. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. When you get to the website, scroll down a little bit until you get to the button that says book your reading. Click on that to order your reading with me. And in my personal readings, I use astrology, the tarot, and numerology. I combine all of those with my intuition. And if you have any questions about your life purpose, your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, spiritual development, hopes and dreams, travel, anything at all really, what's coming up in future, please do get in touch with me for a personal reading. I can answer all of those things in a personal reading. Also, I use things like the progress chart, the transits to see what's coming up, and the astrocartography to look at different locations and how each one influences you and works for you specifically. So if you have any questions around that, please do get in touch. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have a fabulous week, and I'll speak to you soon. All the best. Take care.